A very important part of any writer's toolkit, quill pens. They were used during the colonial period for everything from personal letters to official documents to business records. They were also, believe it or not, one choice of writers in America from roughly 1620 to 1820. Now, these pens were created from the feathers of birds, most commonly goose, swan, or turkey, and the process of creating them was both time-consuming and expensive. First, the feather had to be cured by boiling it for several hours. Then it had to be cut and shaped in a specific way to form the writing point. This writing point would hold the ink and create those fine lines on the paper. But the problem with quill pens is they wore down pretty quickly, so much so that colonial writers had to frequently trim or mend their pens to keep them sharp. In fact, the quill pen was so important and ubiquitous during this time period that you can find them in nearly every colonial shop, such as the one here in Colonial Williamsburg. Welcome to my channel. I'm the curator of collections for a museum. And today we are going to talk about quill pens. So these are a couple of examples of the different types of pens that you might find in a colonial shop. Typically, a customer would come in and purchase a pen that was already made, but sometimes they would bring in their own feathers and ask a shopkeeper to shape them into a quill. Shopkeepers would sell not only the pens, but also the ink and the paper and all of the supplies that you needed to go along with it. Now, this trade was so popular that at one point there was even a tax on the feathers coming into the colonies because they were considered a luxury item. That was back in 1759, but by the end of the 18th century, the price of feathers had gone down significantly, and in fact, by the end of the century, you could purchase a box of 12 duck or goose feathers for about 2 shillings. Now, not only were these pens used for writing, they were also used for record keeping, business keeping, all sorts of things like that. And because they were so common, they were used by people from all walks of life, men, women, free and enslaved. Everyone used the quill pen during this time period. So if you wanted to make sure your writing was legible and clear, you had to have a good quill pen. So what do you think? Would you ever use a quill pen? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're there, make sure to subscribe for more historical tales.